Volume means the amount of space inside a 3D shape. Now the units for volume are either millimetre cubed, centimetre cubed, metre cubed or kilometre cubed. Now to find the volume of a cuboid like we've got here, what we do is we do the following. We do volume equals length times width times depth. So we just multiply the three values given together. So volume is the length, which is 6, times the width, which is 5, times the depth, which is 2. Now if this is on a calculator page, you can pick up a calculator, or 6 times 5 is 30, times 2 is 60. And because we're looking in centimetres, it's centimetre cubed. Because remember, the units for volume are millimetre cubed, centimetre cubed, metre cubed or kilometre cubed. And you get a mark sometimes in the question for giving the correct units. Another thing you might be asked to find the volume of is a triangular prism. Now remember back to when we found the area of a triangle. How is the area of a triangle related to the area of a rectangle? Well, a triangle is half of a rectangle. Likewise, a triangular prism is half of a cuboid. So what we do is we find the volume of the entire cuboid and then we're going to half the answer to get the volume of a triangular prism. So remember, the volume for finding the area equation for finding the volume of a cuboid is length times width times depth. We're going to use that again. So the volume of this, if it was a cuboid, would be 6 times 4 times 9. So 6 times 4 is 24, times 9 is 216 centimetre cubed. But that would be for a cuboid, and we've got a triangular prism, which we said is half of a cuboid. So finally, we've got to do 216 divided by 2, which is 108 centimetre cubed. So remember, the equation for finding the volume of a cuboid is length times width times depth. Now there's another way of finding the volume of this triangular prism. And you'll find in the front of your exam paper you have an equation for finding the volume of a prism, which is given as the area of the cross section times by the length. Now this works for any prism. Now remember, a prism means that if you cut this shape in half, you'd have exactly the same triangle at the end as you do at the moment. Now we call this section at the end here the cross section, and we want to find the area of that cross section. So we want to find the area of the triangle at the end. So if we do that, we're going to do 6 times 4, so the base times the height, and then divide it by 2. Because remember, a triangle is half a rectangle. Well, 6 times 4 is 24, divided by 2 is 12. So the area of the cross section is 12. So the volume of this prism, is equal to 12 times by the length of this prism, which is 9. So 12 times 9, which is also 108 centimetre cubed. Now that works for any prism. So if you're asked to find the volume of a cylinder, then you'd find the area of the circle at the end and times it by the length.